starts now.
All right, welcome into Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. We had severe weather last night in parts of the area. We're getting ready for round number 2 that we've been telling you about. You checked in with Tania, Matt, and Mickey were talking about earlier today. Those gusty winds will be a big factor tomorrow. Let's get you over to where we have a wind advisory. Everybody's included here. Notice Coleman County, that county highlighted a bit differently. That's included in the National Weather Service Huntsville area, and they've issued a high wind advisory across the Tennessee Valley. But pretty much any area there, 278 and north, we'll have to watch for some of those gusts possibly topping 40 miles per hour. And with these kind of winds, we'll have to be alert for the possibility of some power outages. You can see timing-wise, the strongest wind speeds happen there starting in the early morning hours, and then those winds will settle down by 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Still breezy, but not as windy. This is one of our products that we have here in the First Alert Weather Center. It's our First Alert Power Outage Index, and this is showing us at least the possibility of some scattered outages, maybe some localized areas there. You can see the possibility of moderate outages, but that's going to be first part of the day in the early afternoon, so do plan ahead. Make sure you have those mobile devices charged. Loose items are secure outdoors because of that wind's going to be whipping, and keep both hands on the steering wheel, especially those high-profile vehicles. Be extra careful out there. In general, tomorrow it is going to be a windy day. And on top of that, well, we're going to have a line of rain and storms that moves across the area. 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. across West Alabama. We're looking at 8 a.m. to noon, those central areas. Fast mover. You kind of get the picture here. It's only going to be like a 1 to 2 hour window of impact for any given area with respect to the threat of severe storms. And then that's going to be moving into East Alabama 10 a.m. to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But once this moves east of 65, if you're watching here, West Alabama, we'll have some sunshine coming out. I mean, the threat, once it passes, it's over, but that line is going to mean business when it moves across the state. This is a look at some of the tornado ingredients, and this is a map that I like to show, kind of highlights where we see the greatest tornado ingredients set up. And you'll notice that the big concern for tornadoes by 10 a.m. starting to set up back in here around parts of Bibb, Shelby, Jefferson counties. We'll have to watch. You can see the tornado ingredients briefly start to increase there, but watch as this moves east of 65. It kind of hits a different level there. So East Alabama especially by late morning. And what's going on is we're getting the added warmth of the day. We're getting temperatures rising. We've got wind energy. So we'll have to watch it. This is one of those deals where we're going to have some fast moving storms, 50 plus miles per hour. So make sure you have a plan in place, East Alabama especially. If we do get a tornado warning, this is a kind of deal where those storms would be on top of you in a hurry. So make sure you have a plan that allows you to get to a shelter quickly and be ready to act quickly in case a warning is issued. The seconds are going to really matter tomorrow with any advisory that's issued. Again, I just want to stress that this is still one of those situations. There are some question marks, but we see some of those parameters that check the boxes. And again, this will be in and out of here. Typical spring setup, what we're seeing here across the state, but you can clearly tell from some of those ingredients, we're going to have to watch it there as we get into the eastern part of the state. Very windy tomorrow. Again, the wind advisory. Get to the weekend, we'll have some improvements, but let's watch it there tomorrow during the day. We're going to show you, we've got some rain on radar right now, some wet weather moving across the state. We'll track that for you coming up here in First Alert Weather, and also coming up on Weather Extra. More on preparation for tomorrow, some tornado safety tips and what you can do in the event a warning is issued. We're going to talk about the weekend and any plans you have there for the weekend, more specifics on the weekend outlook for Saturday and Sunday. And last night's storm, we looked back at where we had some impacts there and some beach safety tips with meteorologist Fred Hunter as we get close to spring break season here as we are watching First Alert Weather Extra.
We know weather can be grab the umbrella or jogging shoes, but it's so much more. It's a science, an art, led by knowledge and experience.
And no one has more of that than a WBRC First Alert Weather team.
Warning you first with more hours committed to you. And the first forecast built to see weeks, days, and even minutes ahead, right down to where you live. From the team you trust on your favorite screen.
Doing the weather better. The WBRC First Alert Weather team, always on your side.
Some people may think you're overreacting. Some may ask, is there a storm coming? That's okay. Because knowing the first alert has helped you beat the rush. Being prepared puts you in control and changes the what if to you're okay. Knowing first is everything. First Alert Weather.
If you have plans for this weekend, we have a first alert for a wintry mix.
When you need to know next week, tomorrow, or even right now, the WBRC First Alert Weather Team is always on your side, whenever and wherever you need us. This is why we First Alert.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. Meteorologist Lauren Lenahan did want to give you a quick preview of the storm system that is coming towards us in Alabama tomorrow. It is now making a beeline towards the Dallas metro area where you see this tan polygon here. That is a severe thunderstorm warning that has a destructive tag on it. So you can see that right here, that tan polygon, also a tornado warning associated with that. So we could be seeing winds in excess of 70 miles per hour when this comes through. We'll see how this plays out once it gets towards us for tomorrow. But we do want to take a look right now at some new video that is coming out of North Alabama. This was from the storms that came through yesterday in the New Market community. Storms downed trees, flipped vehicles, and significantly damaged the roofs of 2 homes. Haley Brown says part of her roof was torn off, but her friends and neighbors quickly stepped in to help.
We got here and the tarps got out of the cars. Neighbors sprang into action. Our next door neighbor used to be a roofer, and if it hadn't been for him, we probably would have lost a lot more and had a lot more damage to our house. So we were really thankful for him.
And Brown goes on to say they've done all they can do for now. She, her husband, and her 2 dogs will be staying with her parents for the next few days. So we've certainly had an active weather pattern in place and seen severe thunderstorms and potential tornadoes moving through Texas now. We check in with meteorologist Matt Daniel and Mickey Ferguson for just how to prepare for incoming storms.
Well, we talked about the potential that exists for maybe some severe storms going into tomorrow morning with damaging winds, and with that line of storms coming through, we could see some isolated tornadoes. So we're just going over the tornado safety rules again. If you can, go to the center of your house, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Now, if there's a tornado watch, do we need a, has a tornado been reported? Do I need to go to a shelter immediately? Not in a tornado watch, but a tornado warning, you do. Do I have time to plan during a tornado watch? You've got plenty of time, but not with a warning. You already need a plan of action, and you need to enact that plan if a warning is issued for your area. And should I closely monitor weather conditions all the time there, especially when we have a potentially severe event headed our way? Now, with more on this, let's move over to Matt now. Matt?
That's right, and of course we're entering the severe weather season, but typically we could consider we've already in the severe weather season, because normally we'll see an uptick in tornadoes and severe storms around late fall, winter. So we consider November through May as tornado seasons, although tornadoes can occur any time of the year. And this is from stats from the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center between 1950 and 2022. And it's pretty obvious where we see the peaks. So obviously we are entering the 2 busiest months of the season when it comes to tornado activity. We've seen 400 tornadoes in the month of March in the state, and almost 575 tornadoes in April. Of course, a lot of those numbers are probably got skewed because of April of 2011. But you can see the tornadic activity really lowers as we go into the summer months. You have to have a lot of wind energy, and we usually lack that in the summer times, but it starts to increase as we go into the late fall. Speaking of wind energy, how really do tornadoes form? Well, you need a lot of ingredients together. You have to have the wind to set up. So you need to change the wind direction between the surface and the upper levels. So you need a lot of dynamics, an area of low pressure that's strengthening. And as it does so, you can start getting some of that rotation. You can see the spin, changing the wind direction with the height causes that horizontal rotation. And then eventually, if it gets pretty strong, you can also get strong lift and thunderstorms, and that's one other ingredient you need. But when we say it needs to be unstable, you need a lot of wind energy, or you need a lot of heat energy. So if the dew points are in the 60s and you're in the 70s and 80s, that's a lot of warm air that can really intensify those storms. So you got the wind, you got the heat and instability, then sometimes you can create tornadoes. It has to be the perfect ingredients. That's why when we see severe weather, not everybody's getting tornadoes, but sometimes that perfect matchup of ingredients come together, and that's when we can get those tornadoes. And of course, if we have more of those ingredients, sometimes those tornadoes can become more intense. Now, hopefully tomorrow morning we can get through it without any active weather, but of course we will be here on Good Day Alabama tracking those storms as they sweep from west to east.
Thanks for that, Matt. Yeah, likely going to be a very busy morning on Good Day Alabama for tomorrow. In the meantime, let's zoom out here and check away from home with weather around the world and the U.S. with meteorologist Tania Michelle.
All right, so we know that winter is not over, especially for parts of the western U.S. Matter of fact, the National Weather Service has placed a freeze warning for some areas in California like Bakersfield and San Joaquin Valley. And Yosemite National Park was forced to close from all the snow over the area the last several days. Take a look at this video right here. This is video showing up to 15 feet of snow in some areas of California's Yosemite National Park, and this has caused the park to close down to the public. Officials say they don't even know exactly when they're going to be able to reopen it. A multi-day blizzard has caused the park to be closed for more than 5 days and counting, and officials say crews are working to restore critical services so visitors can safely return. This is an unusual amount of snow for this area, and it's not over. A winter storm warning is in effect by the National Weather Service for Yosemite National Park and areas to the south along the Sierra Nevada from 10 a.m. on Saturday to 4 a.m. on Monday. So basically more snow for them this weekend. And caught on camera nearly 23 days after an earthquake in Turkey, crews were able to rescue a dog from the rubble. Rescuers rushed to an area where someone reported hearing noises from under a collapsed building. There they found the Siberian Husky mix under the rubble and in fairly good condition. Rescuers call finding the dog relatively unscathed a miracle. How sweet is that? I absolutely love that.
I'm just so impressed he was able to sustain his life during all that time under the rubble. Always love to hear a good heartwarming story like that. Coming up on First Alert Weather Extra, Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt shows us a look at the Super 7-day forecast. And then soon we'll check in with Mr. Absolutely Alabama himself, Fred Hunter, for some beach safety tips. We'll be right back.
Are you noticing mold or discoloration in your shower? Or maybe you just want to replace that old bathtub with something more modern and luxurious? Well, either way, we've got you covered. Hey everybody, I'm joined by BJ Worzen, owner of West Shore Home, to talk a little shower and bath remodeling and how West Shore is making the entire process from start to finish fast and easy. BJ.
Thanks, Joe. At West Shore Home, we understand the headaches and stress a remodeling project can cause. That's why everything that we do is designed to make it stress-free for our customers.
A lot of people don't think of remodeling as stress-free, especially bath remodeling. So how are you making a complicated process easier?
Everything in our process can be done from the comfort of your own home. Give us a call and we'll send one of our bath experts out that has a time that's most convenient for you. And when it comes time for that installation, we're going to send one of our employee installers out and complete that project in as little as 1 day.
So no running out to big box stores and comparing samples and colors and then maybe waiting months for the installation. You're saying this is an all-inclusive process, making it really fast and easy for customers. That's great. Now, BJ, I understand you have a flash sale going on right now. Tell us about that.
That's right, Joe. Right now, anyone that gives us a call, we're going to do free installation on all shower and bath remodeling projects. On top of that, we're going to be doing 12 months, no interest, no payment financing. That means you can get that bath project done right now and not have to make any payments or pay any interest until 2024.
Free installation, that's a great offer. Let's see some projects you've done recently.
Absolutely, let's take a look. Here, we were able to completely remove an outdated shower and bath and install something that matched the rest of their bathroom. That low step feature is going to make getting in and out of that shower really easy. And the sleek matte black hardware looks amazing. Here's a few more. All of these were installed in one day, and just a reminder, for a limited time, anyone that calls will get free installation on their shower and bath project.
BJ, thanks so much. Folks, call West Shore Home now for this limited time offer. It's free installation on all shower and bath projects. Plus, for limited time, BJ is doing 12 months of no payments and no interest financing. Get your shower project now and don't worry about making a single payment until 2024. Call West Shore Home now.
All right, welcome into Weather Extra. Well, surprise, we have more storms in the forecast. Look, it's been that kind of year, just incredible. We've only had maybe 2-3 weeks where we have not had a severe risk over some part of Alabama, but at least we got a nice weekend on the way. Let's talk about what to expect tonight. There's going to be some showers out there, possibly a thunderstorm before midnight. What's going on is we have this system approaching from the west. Showers are moving north. That south flow starting to kick in, so typically what happens is kind of like a warm front setup. You get moisture lifting in, and as that happens, you can get some storms. A lot of times, if you do get a strong storm in that situation, it's hail producers and gusty winds, but not really seeing that at the moment. It's just mostly showers that we're tracking. We're catching some breaks here around the Birmingham area, but notice to the south, you see this from Weoguvka, back in here around Mineral Springs here in Chilton County. No lightning with this, but a nice little downpour about to cross Highway 145 that runs up around Lay Lake and Beeswax Creek area. You can see Newbern, a little bit of rain now moving north. Greensboro, get ready, a first alert. That shower activity is about to move in. But tonight, you're probably still going to get some of those notifications. If you have our weather app, great tool. It lets you know, hey, some rain's approaching your location. Just make sure you have the location turned on so that the app and the weather app can show you where that rain is with respect to your location. But this is the axis right in here. You can see how this is all lining up, kind of like a warm front. That's what's going to be lifting north here tonight. So we're going to get some more rain tonight as this moves north. And once that lifts in, and that's all out advance of this system that's approaching here, once that happens, you'll notice the wind speed start to really increase tonight. That low-level jet, as we call it, that south wind. We got some severe weather happening. Lauren noted a few moments ago these severe storms moving into the Dallas area with the rare destructive tag. That's a new criteria for severe thunderstorm warnings. We don't just have severe storms now, which are still severe. They produce winds of 58 miles per hour, but sometimes, we have these severe storm events that are more destructive compared to others. And in this particular case, that's what you got here, a storm that's actually producing at minimal 80 mile per hour winds or baseball-sized hailstones moving through the Dallas area. That's tracking to the east. That's the line that we're going to have to watch for tomorrow. That's going to be moving in tomorrow morning. It's really going to thin out as it moves into the state. There's some question marks on how well that evolves as it moves through the state. We got a lot of wind energy. Sometimes I've seen we've had so much wind shear, it just shears apart some of these storms, but a lot of those ingredients check the boxes for tornadoes tomorrow. So make sure you are weather alert for Friday. Here's a look at the next 24 hours. And again, you can see that line. I want to time it out for you. There's 6 o'clock in the morning, and there's what we're tracking. You can see that broken line of rain and storms, and that's it. Once that moves through here, severe threat over, but that's showing 9 a.m. in this model update for West Alabama, pushing through those central areas late morning to lunchtime, and really got to watch it here in the eastern part of Alabama. Anything that pops up. This is not necessarily a cold front. It's a dry line that's going to be moving across the state. So one thing we'll notice, we'll see the muggy levels drop off as the storms move through. That kind of stabilizes things, but there will be a front that catches up tomorrow night. So it wouldn't totally surprise me if we got a shower that moved in tomorrow night. But all this is going to move out for the weekend. Saturday into Sunday, we have highs in the 70s and the first alert for some rain on Wednesday. But we'll keep you posted on those changes. A lot to keep our eye on for tomorrow morning. We'll have more right here as we continue on First Alert Weather Extra.
We heard the first alert. Mom says we have to go.
You are included with a storm like
She says I don't have time to grab any more toys.
You need to be in your tornado safe place. Get there right now as you have.
We have to get to our safe place because sometimes when you hear the siren, it's too late. That's why she says knowing first is everything.
We know weather can be grab the umbrella or jogging shoes, but it's so much more. It's a science, an art, led by knowledge and experience.
And no one has more of that than a WBRC First Alert weather team.
Warning you first with more hours committed to you. And the first forecast built to see weeks, days, and even minutes ahead, right down to where you live. From the team you trust on your favorite screen.
Doing the weather better. The WBRC First Alert weather team, always on your side.
The first alert is more than a warning. It's a promise. A promise to get you out of harm's way with plenty of time to spare. 4 walls and a roof can be replaced. Lives can't. That's why knowing first is everything. First Alert weather.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. It may surprise you to know in 2022 there were more fatalities nationally from rip currents than tornadoes. So the National Weather Service is helping spread the word about rip current safety. Meteorologist Fred Hunter spoke with Gulf Shore's Beach Safety Chief Joe Ethan Phillips about the risk of rip currents, how you can protect yourself, and the importance and meaning of the beach warning flags.
It may surprise you to learn that overall last year there were more fatalities from rip currents than there were from tornadoes. Now normally we think of tornadoes associated with severe weather, but we like to talk about rip current awareness. That's something the National Weather Service does. And Joe Ethan Phillips is with us. Joe Ethan is the Beach Safety Chief for Gulf Shores Fire and Rescue. And Joe Ethan, thank you so much for joining us. Let's talk a little bit about last year and talking with your predecessor, Melvin Shepard, a few days ago. He was telling me that on balance, you guys had a relatively safe 2022 at the beach.
We did. Last season was a good season for us. We did have one drowning that was on an unguarded beach after hours, but we had 120 rescues. So for us, that was a good season.
And for those folks who don't know, talk a little bit about exactly what beach safety is about. And I suppose the big threat, of course, is from rip currents. Explain, Joe Ethan, if you can. People may hear that term and may not know exactly what a rip current is.
That's right. In the eyes of beach safety, what we want to do is educate people when they come down to talk to know what the flags are, to be able to recognize what a rip current is, and to know what to do if caught in a rip current. Like you said, a lot of people don't know what a rip current is. So the way we like to describe it for the layman terms is, think of it as a treadmill. It's water, it's got to get back out to sea when the surf's up. So think of it as a treadmill that's continually running. If you're trying to swim against that treadmill, you're never going to be able to get off of it. So you need to stay calm, not panic, and think of it like just being able to step off the treadmill. Instead of stepping off, swim parallel, and then you'll be able to, the current will quit pulling you, and then you'll be able to swim back in or call for help. But the main thing is to not panic.
And one of the things I think I've heard you and your group down there, and have heard Melvin say, you know, one of the main things, and this goes with not panicking, you got to relax, because the rip current will eventually ease up and you'll be able, as you said, I think, to swim parallel to the beach and maybe save your own life. Or of course that's what the lifeguards are there for. And the lifeguards are in Gulf Shores and Orange Beach. And I always tell people, you know, always swim near a lifeguard. I know that's the the thing that you guys encourage too.
And that's right, exactly what you said. The main thing is to relax. Think about it like if you're on that treadmill running, if you stop, eventually the treadmill is going to push you off of it. So just like a rip current. Eventually the rip current is going to let up. You're going to get to the head of the rip current where it's no longer pulling. You may be further out, but it's not pulling you out any further. If you stay relaxed, somebody will be able to see you and call for help, and then hopefully we'll be able to get there. And we always encourage to swim near a lifeguard. That way, if you do get sucked by a rip current, there's somebody that is actively watching your area when you're swimming. So we always encourage you to come to a beach where there are lifeguards. And in the city of Gulf Shores, that's all the main public beach accesses, and you can see that on the city website at gulfshoresal.gov.
And you post every week. I think we should point out, because I check there's a beach forecast that shows what the rip current forecast is for the next several days, and that's on, I know, the National Weather Service's website, and I'm sure it's on your website as well.
That's right. The National Weather Service has a rip current forecast that you can get on their website. That'll give you about a 3 to 5 day outlook of what the forecast may be. And then we have a text line that you can text 888-777, text AL Beaches to that number, and it'll give you the daily flag and conditions that we have for that day.
All right, you bring up the flags. People may see the warning flags and not know exactly what the green flag or the yellow flag or the red flag or the purple flag, or most importantly, I guess, the double red flags, what exactly those mean.
So we'll start from the top to the bottom. Double red flags, that means the water is closed. It's closed all the way up to your toes. So that means we don't want you to touch any water at all. That's when the safety is at most for people, when the currents are ripping really hard and the surf's really high, and we just think that it's safe for everybody to stay out. So we'll make a proclamation to close the water. The red flag is high hazard or surf, and that's when those rip currents are still bad, but we hadn't actually closed the water, but we still recommend that you don't swim in that area. And then the yellow flags represent medium hazard or current. That's going to be your typical day, but they're moderate risk there as well. And the city of Gulf Shores and USLA no longer adopts the green flag, so in our area we don't fly that flag anymore. The purple flag is marine pest or dangerous marine life that's associated, and it will be flown with the yellow or red flag. That's for jellyfish, Portuguese man of war, and stuff like that.
All right, so the main thing is to know the meaning of those warning flags. And by the way, you do have those posted on the beaches, so it's not just the flags you see. I know there's quite a bit of signage right there along the public beaches in Gulf Shores that explain the warning flags, just in case somebody needs a reminder.
That's right. Anytime that you see a flag, there should be something right below it that explains what it is. That way you know what's going on and you can identify what it is.
All right, and I think it's worth pointing out, this is kind of a side note, but it's something I know that you guys are looking forward to, a big tourism season in 2023. The double red flags mean don't get in the water. The beach itself is not closed, so you can still enjoy the beautiful white sand beaches there in Baldwin County. Just don't get in the water.
That's right. The water's closed. The beach is not. We want you to come down, look at the heavy surf, and just look at Mother Nature, but we don't want you to risk your life to get in.
All right. Joe Ethan, I can't thank you enough. Joe Ethan Phillips, of course, is the safety chief there with Gulf Shores Fire and Rescue at Gulf Shores. You'll probably see him up and down the beach, as well as all his lifeguards when you go down. So, Joe Ethan, I wish you guys good fortune and hope we have a safe summer there in Baldwin County.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You bet.
Well, what a great interview, and certainly very relevant on the cusp of spring break. So looking at that Super 7-day forecast, not only do we have that severe threat on Friday morning, but the winds are going to be pretty potent. We're talking gusts up to 50 miles per hour possible. But then, hey, look at the weekend forecast. Not looking too shabby after that. Dry and sunny. Check back in with Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt tonight on First at 9 for an update. You can catch us back here on Weather Extra tomorrow at 6:30 on your streaming devices.